Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well and good. Today we are going to do an analysis on Power BI and we have our data in Excel. Let me just try to show you the data first. So we have this data sheet. In this we have about, let's say, control down about 94,732 rows. That is about, let's say, about a million, almost about a million. And we have user ID, state of Gujarat, student ID, class 4 grade, subject, district, block. District is that of Gujarat itself, and block is again of Gujarat. It is the even further bifurcation of district. First came the district, then come the block, then we have the test code. So in this data set, basically we have students who have solved questions from 1 to 36, and they have also responded the answers of those questions, like from A, B, C, D, and so on. And we have the coding sheet of the questions. And so you can see we have question from 1 to question number 36 of class 4, then class 5, then class 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. So and so 36 question per class we have, and then we have, yes, 36 question per class. We can also observe that there are some additional rows, columns as well, 38, 39 to 40, which is not required for our analysis because that is completely NA. We can remove that. And what do we have to do? Basically we have to wait, before that, I should show you that. Okay, so we also have a question topic and the question description and the right answer to that question. So this is the question and that is the right answer to the question. And then we have level in it. Level is from beginner up to 30%, then basic 30 to 50, intermediate 50 to 80, advanced 80 and above. And what we have to do is basically we have to uh, give the answer in this type, in which we have to show the test score of the student that he got in each and every test per user ID. Okay, and then the correct percentage, the level, what is his level, and the test code which is already given in the data. And then you can see, observe that if the students opted right, then it is 1, and if it is wrong, then it is 0. So we have to like figure out the logic in a way that we can do this on Power BI. Okay, so now I hope that the data is completely understood by you, and now we can move on to the Power BI. Let's move on to the Power BI, and we have the data view. Let's go to the data view, and let's also close this. Otherwise, it might cause some issues in loading and everything. Okay, so we have the data right now in the data sheet. That so code frame we had with the questions, and the subject language, and the question topic and the question description is also is present in the code 52 rows, right? So I think this is basically the same thing, so I can remove this one anyhow. So basically coding sheet we have here, then we have the data sheet in which the data is there, which I have already showed you. Then we have level, and then we have the sample result sheet. Now the analysis that we have to do is on the data sheet, and let's say we have all the rows here present in the data sheet. Wait a second, up till 36, because I have removed the columns from here. We have 37, 38, 39 and 40, and obviously I have removed the columns here. Then after removing the columns, I have taken that data to another sheet, which is the data sheet Unpivoted, in which what I have done, let's move to the starting. We have this data, then we have removed the columns, After removing the columns we have from 1 to 36, what I did is that I selected each and every column from 1 to 36 like this, and then go to the transform and unpivot column. I don't want to insert the task again, but I unpivot it on the basis of and unpivoted on the basis of this. mm, no, I just simply unpivoted it. I don't think that if we unpivot then we require any additional arguments. Let's just insert again. Yep, it basically unpivots again. So we can close this. We have the attribute and the value. Delete this. We do not require this step. So basically we move on to the unpivoted. Let's load it and just close it from here, otherwise creating issues again. Yep, yeah, that is the question. And just wait for it to load. Oh, there is quite a lot of data, by the way, so it might take some time. Okay, so it is loaded, and let's just load this one as well. Yep, finally loaded. Now move to the data. Now what we did, we took the column from 1 to 36 and we unpivoted that. After unpivoting we got it from 1 to 36, we got the information and the value that they have put it here. So what I now want to do is that somehow get the correct value besides the value that students have inputted, then make some logic out of it. So the coding sheet is this one, and we have the correct answer is in this one. So if we go back to the data sheet unpivoted, and then we have renamed the columns to the question number and the student response. Then I have simply merged a column, inserted merged column, which is basically test code, and the question number, which is the question ID, because we can see from here in the coding sheet that the question ID is basically the test code concatenated or merged with the question number. So that is how we get the question ID. Now moving back to the data sheet pivoted, inserted removed columns, inserted renamed columns, and inserted this column. Then I have merged this basically with the coding sheet. You can see it's that here from the coding sheet, or I can also like show it from here as well. Yep, so it is coding sheet on the basis of this question ID and this question ID. Cancel. Now what I'm getting, I'm trying to getting the value of the answer, and this answer is basically the correct answer. So now what I have to do is basically set a logic. If this is equal to that the student response is equal to the correct answer, then 1, otherwise 0, because that is the wrong answer. So that is what I did. Now I have created a column, conditional column 0 and 1 from let's say from here. Add column, conditional column, and that is here. Correct response is student is if equal to the correct response, student response is equal to the correct response, then 1, else 0. Simple logic. Then I've reordered the column, just put the question ID in the left side, and now we have three columns: student response, correct answer, and the correct response. Then basically what I did is that I sorted the data according to the UID, or maybe no, maybe I have sorted it on the basis of student ID, that too ascending. You can also see ascending here. So what it did is basically showed me the values in ascending, and another thing that I can see is that some values are missing. So what this means that there is some value in the coding sheet, or there is some question ID, or there is some code in the question sheet that is not equal. Wait a second, just mhm. Yep. So let's just see. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. So there is some question ID in the coding sheet that is not there in this data sheet. Oh, there are some okay. There are some question ID in the data sheet that is not in the coding sheet. So data sheet is having more question IDs. So that is why it is showing null. So what I did, I continued my analysis, and just wait a second. I just changed the type of it. What there are student ID to type text. I has converted the student ID. Where is the student ID? Okay, yeah, student ID was this column. So I have converted it to the type text, such that I have taken the reference of this sheet to this sheet, and then what I have done is just used the groups on the basis of user ID, and what I could find out is if I take the sum of the correct response, then it will group every user ID is only having 36 questions, so it will just sum from 0 to 1 whatever the value is having. So if the value is 0, all 0, then it will just show 0. Some ones and some zeros, then it will show that value basically. So that is how the logic is done, and I have gotten the test scores like this, just grouping by it by user ID, UID from this data sheet. As simple as that. Then what I've done, I've taken the additional column from, like, let's say added custom column. Basically what I did is divided it by 36, test scores by 36, because now after all these scores percentage whatever I will get is out of 36. So I have divided it by the 36 to get the percentage correct, and change the type to percentage so that it shows it in the percentage itself. Then we have added level also added condition column on the basis of, let's say, if it is less than or equal to the point 0.3, then beginner, then basic, intermediate, and advanced, otherwise NA. So if my logic is wrong somehow, then it will show NA, otherwise it will not show NA. So it does not show NA, that is means it is completely fine. Logic is working completely fine, because there is no okay. Now what I did, I have taken this data sheet and pivoted, and I have duplicated it. Because why? Because I'm having some null values here, and I actually really do not want to show the null values. So I have taken this sheet DS unpivoted, filtered, and mapped, it says, and I have filtered the correct answers where it is not null. So just remove the nulls from here, and did the same thing with the TNC filtered mapped. Basically, took the user ID, sum of the test scores, then divided by 36 to get the percentage count. Then we got the level. As you can see, we don't have any zeros values here, because we have just filtered the unnecessary thing that we get, and these are the student response. Okay, now this looks even better for our analysis. Otherwise it was like there are some questions, or some question ID that is not even there in the coding sheet, so how would you even mark it? So that is why I have filtered it out. Now we have the average correct response. Now looking at the sheet, okay, this logic, I will come back to this logic, but let me just go to the coding sheet again. So I can see that every per grade, and per question number I have each question ID. So I can do another bifurcation on the basis of this one. So grade and question number, I have taken the average of correct response. So let's just move back to the data itself. Let's go back to the data itself. Now if we take the data sheet and if we see the questions, now first thing is I'm taking average per this single row. Let's say this single row. I've taken, okay, I cannot select rows here. Okay, so this single complete the first row. Let's say I want to take the average of the student. I can get that average. But let's say if I want to take the average of the per question, how many questions per first question, how many students attempted it correctly? And for the second question, how many students attempted it correctly? Similarly, for all these questions, how many students attempted it correctly? To find that out, what I did is basically I go to the average collect response and basically mapped it or aggregated it on the basis of the grade and the question number. First is the grade, then is the question number, then is the average correct response. And now in this way, I would be able to represent the per question what is the average response of the student. So that is done extremely well. Then we have the coding sheet mapped, which is basically nothing but what I did is that took the coding sheet, duplicated it, and I made a column of the grade and the question number here, and I also made a column of the average correct response here. So just to show per class question number, what is the average response here? So that is the logic what I did, and you already know merge. What is how to do merge? Take two columns, give a delimiter, and merge it. And then average correct response is also I've taken just simply did the merging thing from here, merge queries, simple. Now moving on to the data sheet, final. Now what I did, now this one and this one you will like to know. Okay, so basically our analysis was up till here. I have explained. I have removed. Okay, I have not sorted anything as of now. And in this one, I have taken the reference of, let's say, which one? This is the origin source, not any reference, perhaps. So I must have taken a filtered value. No, 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 no. So in this one, I have not sorted it. So what I mean to say is, just a minute, just a minute. I just need to show something. Let's say if I do ascending, insert this and just wait. Okay, finally it is loaded. And as you can see that there are some null values as well here. So basically what I'm trying to show is that the data sheet is having some values that are not some question IDs that are not in present in the coding sheet, but it is in the data sheet. So there are some null values, and yeah, so I just wanted to have the entire data set here. And let's cross this down as of now. And basically reorder the columns and then remove columns up until here. Okay, I have removed some columns, so I have to tell you why I have removed them. Let's go back to the reordered columns. We have columns like question test code we have, then we have the question IDs, and if you look observe at the question IDs, and I just wait a second, it is just loading a little bit. Yes, so we have, I can observe that in this question ID, there are some values that are getting repeated 36 times. So that I really do not want. And plus, I just want two things here. I just want my question number and the correct response. And the correct answer, basically, I really do not want because I already have this correct response. So I already know. What I want to do is basically convert the same thing to this in this format. in this format in which we can see from question 1, and if it is correct then 1, if it is not correct then 0, something like that. Now moving ahead to the datasheet file and merged, and moving back to here, remove columns. Then you can see that I have reordered columns. I have removed the columns, that is the question ID, student response, and the correct answer, which I really do not want here. I just have the test code, which is as is, and the question number and the correct response. If in case I take the question ID or all those things, then what it will do, it will do the pivoting, but it will repeat. I don't want it to repeat if it does the pivot. That is why I have remove those columns. Now if I pivot it, and I can see that it is finally in the format, so every question, per question, I have the response of the correct response, or it is not the response for each and every row and all the rows. Then what I did, I just removed the duplicate just to see, just to check if there are no duplicates in our data. Then I have sorted it, and sorted it on the basis of UID, ascending, student ID ascending. Basically I've sorted. Then I have merged the queries, test scores correct. I have brought for each yeah, so I have to bring the test scores for the test scores percentage correct. And if you remember it correctly, then this test scores percentage and correct is the one which is unfiltered, and this TNC is the filtered one. So I have merged this test scores and correct, which is the right thing to do. Then I can see per I can observe that the data that I have is from for each and every student ID. Then we have, if the response is right or not, then we have the test scores percentage correct and level, just the way that we want in our sample result sheet. It is in the same format. And so finally we are done with this analysis. Yeah, so moving on. Yeah, so I think I can remove this code frame one. I think this is extra. Let's delete this one. We don't need this. We have all these things, and I think I can close and apply. I haven't made any changes, but still, yep, everything is fine. As is, no extra sheet required. Now, okay, so we also had a question. So this is our question, and this is of that assignment that I got. Now, the data analysis part, I've already explained and showed you. Now, part is of the visualization. I have to create some slices, which I did. Then I had to create a map, which I did. And all these things I did. I will attach this assignment link in the description for you to also solve it. And also the dataset link is also present in the assignment itself. So I will just attach this and you will get access to the both. Now, so what I did, basically, I took the count of the unpivoted unfiltered, which is the uh, count distinct. So that is the distinct student IDs in our data. Then I have taken the average of the percentage correct that we have in this TNC filtered map, which is again filtered data. Which filtered data in the sense that there is some data in the coding. There was some question ID in the data sheet that were not in the coding sheet, so I have simply removed those questions ID just to present it in a better way. Now, all right, so I have added from TNC level percentage score test scores that I have added. Let me just show you as well. Yeah, so basically I did the aggregation, remember, group by on the basis of UID. Then I've calculated the test scores, percentage correct, and the level. And similarly in this one, you can see zeros, so that is the unfiltered one. This is the filtered one. And then I have the count of the student ID by district. and block. So basically district I have taken into location and block, which is showing here. Bubble size is the count of the student ID as per the requirement that was there in this one assignment. And then we have district in the legend. So I could put anything. I could even put the blog, but it would be like greater bifurcation, which I do not want. So yeah, district, just to make it look better. Otherwise, it would look like this. Yeah. So in this one, I have taken the entire data set. So data is not taken from the filtered one. It is the unfiltered one. So the entire count it is showing the average percentage, and as you can also see that the beginner average test scores is dramatically reduced, dramatically or drastically. Okay, and so you can see here now. Then I have added the slices, district, block, subject, grade, and similarly I have also added here. Plus, I have also added the explanation that data sheet contains some question IDs that are not in the code frame or the coding sheet. Hence, you can observe the count of the question ID and the lower beginner average test scores as well. Let's just rename it to the code frame, code sheet, coding sheet, DING. Yes, all right, looks better. Okay, now back to the map unfiltered. Then our second requirement was to get the per grade question. We have to check the correct response. So this question from the class 4 question number 6 had the maximum correct response, and similarly we can calculate the minimum as well, in which I have taken the next sheet, that is the bottom 5 and the top 5 that I have taken questions, grade question number. I have just given the average of the correct response as a filter, and I got the top 5 and the bottom 5. So the bottommost one only got the 14% and the top one most just got the 88% correct. So this question from the class 8th question number 9, it was identify correct Sindhi which for the given word. Ha, Sindhi Vichhed. I like this one. Yeah. So okay. So that is, I suppose, our analysis, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I enjoyed doing it. It was something like extremely brilliant, because we have this and we just want to convert it something like where is the sample result sheet like this, and we did the analysis, and we got the final sheet merged map like this, and we did it by doing unpivoting and pivoting. So the concept of the unpivoting and pivoting was very helpful here, and I like the analysis. Let's just move down to show you some values. Yep, we are having the values as well. Now, anything else that I would like to explain? I don't think so. I think we are done here. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.